open-minded. You're always trying to make things better and make them work, and being able to excel and do it well takes somebody else to teach you and to show you the ins and outs and the details. Hi, this is Sandy, and I'm from Bucky's Outdoors in Pinedale, Wyoming, and today we're going to go over a few features about just your basic belt change, spark plugs, go over some overview of snowmobiles, so that way you can kind of get a better idea of how to do a little bit of maintenance on your snowmobile. You have your oil tank here, which you're going to see a lot because you're going to fill that up every time you ride. And then we have basically our clutch setup here. This is our transmission. These are CVT clutches, and so they're infinitely changing gear ratios. We have a primary and a secondary clutch. The secondary is what we open to get the belt off to be able to change your belt. So on the plastic itself, there is a belt tool here. If I pull it out to the side and pull it straight up, it's a threaded device. It does twofold. It holds the side panels together, so it holds everything solid, but it also enables you to change your belt. So once we do that, so I'm going to push here and pull out here, and then pull this out, and that disengages the plastic so you can get into your secondary clutch. On your secondary clutch is a hole on the side, so you have a belt tensioner screw here, and then you also have a hole here, and this is what this threads into. So I'm just going to spin this in and keep turning, and you'll feel it all of a sudden get to a point where it feels harder. And what that's doing is it's pushing this inner sheave, it's pushing it inward, opening up the clutch, and basically what that's doing is giving us some distance so we can actually get the belt off. And I'm going to just keep turning this in, and if you can look up at the top, you can kind of see the sheaves opening and the belt starting to fall down into the clutch. And as I do this, then it's going to give us the room we need. So what I'm going to do is put my hand up here on the top and pull the belt over the top of the sheave, and then work it kind of back and around. And that'll pull it right off the secondary clutch. And then on the primary clutch, there's kind of some flat spots here that we're going to use. So I'm going to kind of push it into the plastic, use the flat spot, which is also going to give us some room, and kind of spin the clutch forward with the engine, and then it's going to pull the belt right off the clutch. You know, when you're going to use your spare belt, basically the belt holder plug wrench, a combination wrench. It's got a T40 Star Torx head on one side, which actually fits screws up here on the chassis, and then it also works as a plug wrench as well. So we're going to use that later on to change some spark plugs. If the hood was on, then you basically can take that out, pivot this, and it pulls right out. And then that way you can actually, if you just stick your fingers in here, you just pull your spare belt out. Pretty simple. At the same way, if you're going to put a belt back in it, we're going to grab the belt in the middle, we're going to fold it in half, basically like this, and then we're going to take this belt that's squeezed together, and we're going to stick it down in. You just have to work it in there until it's engaged all the way into the bottom. They've designed a belt holder that's got the plugs, the belt and all the tools that you need basically out there on the trail that you would have right here. So as we go to put our belt back on the machine, the one thing you always want to look for is the writing on the belt. It's black all the way around except for the one place, and it's going to say Polaris on here with the part number. And you always want to make sure when you put the belt on for direction reasons that you can read Polaris reading right at you. Once it's on the sled, it's going to be like this. We're going to take the belt, and we're going to put it over the top of the clutch, and we're going to kind of push it down into the plastic. Then we're going to rotate the clutch through, which will let the belt fall back into the sheaves itself. And then I'm going to hold the plastic down and take the belt and over the top of the clutch, and then I'm going to work it around like this. When you take the belt tool out, if you don't move your belt with it, it basically is like starting off in third or fourth gear, because the belt is down in the sheaves and your sled will have a really hard time driving away. And so as I turn the screw out, I'm going to move the belt. And so what that does is it keeps it free and it starts moving it to the top of the sheaves in the secondary, which is helping it to put it back into first gear. So you just want to keep moving it. Sometimes you have to move it at the bottom, sometimes at the top. So you're never going to get it all the way completely to the top, but it's going to be darn close, and it should drive away and then shift back into normal. So when you're putting your plastic back together after you put your belt back on, there's a tab here that the plastic engages into. A lot of people don't quite see that, but what you basically do is pull this away, get this underneath, hook this in there and pull up on it so that you know that it's engaged. Push the two pieces together, slide your belt tool in and lock it in, ready to put your side panel back on and take off down the trail.